Hey guys, today I'm down in Dolphin Island for a couple days of R&R before a really busy month of November. Going to be down in Vegas next weekend at the pool show, so if any of you guys are going to be there, hit me up. But just wanted to show you again the pools we built about last February, down in Dolphin Island, Alabama, on a couple of VRBOs we've got. This is the house is called Island Fever, so we put the logo on there with Eco Finish. The one next door is Bama Breeze, same pool. That one's got a little window in the side because I had a little acrylic left over. Really cool features of this is an ICF pool monolithically poured on pilings, on wood pilings. The engineering on that was pretty crazy. I'll try to link one of the videos from the build. You can kind of watch through that whole series if you're interested. There was a lot more rebar and a lot more planning that had to go into this. It's basically a light deck floor on pilings with a pool poured on it all at once. Really sketchy to pour it like that. A lot of weight on false work, but actually turned out to be pretty simple. The real big issues here have really become keeping it serviced and stuff from afar. We tried to build in as much utility for the service guys as we could, but there's still been, they're a little fancier than a lot of the pools they deal with down here, I think, with between salt chlorine generation and the lights and the fancy pumps. There's been a little resistance to that. We've got an autofill that has a sensor in the skimmer that's gotten knocked out multiple times, and the water just runs for a week until they notice it. So there's been a few issues like that that have been kind of educational for us, but ultimately kind of a beautiful setting, really awesome pools. And I'm going to give you a quick tour. Got to make it in for the Chiefs game here in a little bit, so I'm going to do this, and I'll see you guys in Vegas next week. All right, guys, just kind of wanted to get into the finish on these pools. We used Eco Finish. Like I said, when we use Nudura 1, we have an all concrete interior, which makes Eco Finish pretty easy to achieve. You just have to know how to fill in the tie holes with a proper substance that will make it smooth, but also adhere to the Eco Finish. The one thing we did that was kind of cool is we projected the house's logos. This one's called Island Fever. The one next door is called Bama Breeze. The only difference in the pools is we had a little extra acrylic left over, and we put a window in the side where when you're walking up the stairs on that pool, you can see in. But anyway, we projected this logo from up on the top deck and taped it off with Eco Finish's fireproof silicone tape, and then we cut the design out and used the Perla Noir, which is like their black finish, to give us an accent and give us the logo. It's amazing to me how far away you can notice that. When I'm flying my drone, you can see it from 100 feet in the air and still be able to read it perfectly. But obviously these things turned out pretty amazing. They give a lot more utility to the pool when the weather's not great or the surf is too high to be swimming in the ocean. The ocean, it's November 5th right now, and water's getting a little chilly, and it'll just continue to get cold through January till it's pretty unbearable. So having this pool with a heater on it kind of extends that beachy vibe into the winter. Okay guys, I don't actually have a key to get out here. On this house, it's accessible through this gate on the ADA ramp, and I don't have a key to get out here, but basically we've got the Ultra Temp 140, the biggest heat pump that, other than being slow recovery like all heat pumps, it does a good job of keeping this pool warm most of the year. We don't get super cold down here. When we get below 40, it obviously loses all of its efficiency, but that's not that many days here. Got a TR60 and the new VS3 pump that's got its own Wi-Fi connectivity, so we don't actually have to have like an IntelliCenter or EasyTouch to control it. I'll show you the light control up top, because we didn't want to automate this pool simply because it's very corrosive environment down here, and that panel's just going to rust off the wall like everything else. This house is 7 years old, and I've already had to replace the disconnect panel down by the ground because it's just corroded so bad that it was ruined. I didn't want to bother with automated panel on a pool that's basically pretty simple. I'm going to get into some of the issues we have with service down here and everything. One is because this pool is going to get a lot of evaporation because it's in a super windy environment. We have an autofill, fancy autofill, the electronic solenoid type, and it is useless because the service guys pull the basket out of the skimmer and knock the sensor up, and then the water just runs, you know, till somebody notices the water running out of the top of the pool. So we've had to unhook that, much to my chagrin. But one thing about the way we did this, it was Nudura 1 panels with the 4-inch thick R30 Nudura. So this is under the deck on this side, so we didn't bother to hide the plumbing. But that Nudura foam right there is 4 inches thick, which allowed us on the other sides of the pool, like this pool here has plumbing over here, right? Right under that window. And you cannot see any of the plumbing because I was able to bury it in the 4 inches of foam. You can't really do that in regular ICF. You only got about a 2 1/4 inch foam, and with the elbows and fittings and everything, you're going to be out at least 3.5 inches with the T's and stuff. But on this side, we didn't bother because it's up under the deck with all of our light wires. Everything's kind of exposed and easy access. The siding guy was really going out of his way to hide pipes that he didn't really need to. So some of it's not accessible now, but most of it is. But anyway, so this is very simple setup, but a really high quality, clean setup of equipment up off the ground, keeping out of the storm surge. And that's it. I mean, pretty simple pool. So guys, obviously two of the big complicating factors of this pool are the fact that it's up on pilings and we put these windows in the side. But I mean, you just kind of see as people walk by, there's really no mistaking what it is or why. And basically we did that with a piece of 2-inch thick acrylic that was 4 foot by 8 foot. The cost on that was a little under $2 grand. Not bad. And we have a certain way we have to embed that in situ in the concrete so it doesn't leak. Down here where there's a lot of movement, we've still had a little bit of seepage issues. In another video, I'll bring to you how we deal with that on the fly. But anyway, you can see the light deck. This is not the light deck that you see guys using with the metal studs or the metal joist. This just has hollows in it for a 2x6. So we basically build the 2x6. We put a piece of plywood between the pilings with the circle cut out for each piling on falsework. Then we would lay the 2x6s across that, and then we would set the light deck on top of that. So that's how we got the structure to build on. Each one of these beams has 8 half-inch pieces of rebar with a half-inch stirrup wrapping around them every 6 inches. So each one of these things is ridiculously robust, and that's where the structure comes to actually suspend this, 250,000 gallon pool from, pilings. Now, one thing, all the plumbing is basically accessible in this pool because obviously it's up in the air. Gives us a pretty cool opportunity to be able to see all the different things. I will show you in a minute that a lot of our plumbing is up in this little, birdhouse situation. And where it isn't, like over here on this side where the plumbing would be, it's pretty nice that we have the opportunity with a 4-inch thick Nudura 1 with our 30 panels on the outside. We can actually embed most of the pipes completely in the foam, so it's protected from blowing debris and storms, but it's also insulated. So while we're trying to heat this thing, most of the piping is embedded in the foam, so it's not giving up its heat to the outside. You can see, I can zoom in here, the lights, instead of tying into a conduit, they're low voltage. So right where it's more important than ever on the lights to get a dry seal. I'll try to link the how-to on the dry seal on those micro brights. It's not difficult, but it can be tricky to get it to seal up perfectly. Obviously on a pool like this, if it didn't seal up perfectly, it would be dripping. So we had to make sure we got those done up right. But the skimmer's protected up under there. Like I said, the only issues we've had with the skimmer, it's got an autofill sensor. You see that black cord running into it right there. That when the guys service the skimmers, have knocked it out a couple times and caused the autofill to run full time until somebody noticed it, which sucks. But anyway, this is this is the basic structural gist of this pool. It's got 24 30-foot pilings jammed about 18 feet into the beach to give it its structural stability. And then, like I said, a light deck floor. The window on the end was kind of one of the trickier concepts because that obviously weakens the wall somewhat. And it has seeped a little bit. You can see it's got a little wetness right there. Some of that's due from the metal that wraps it, but some of it's also seeping, which we'll have to do an injection to it. I did not bring my stuff with me on this trip, but in a very near future trip, after I get all this traveling done in November, we will do that. But you can just kind of see, you see all the foam jam sticking out still from when we built it. We just we glue the 2x6s to the light deck so it didn't blow away, because in the winter it's very, very windy down here. But you can see our equipment up here is about 7.5 feet off the ground. That keeps it up out of all but the very worst storm surges. It's also protected mostly from the wind and stuff by the pool itself. So it's kind of tucked in up under the house, but it's easily accessed from a gate up on the handicap ramp on this house. Over here, it's got a little catwalk that goes out from the deck, the landing deck, to get to the equipment over there. So anyway, guys, it's pretty cool pools, pretty cool projects, and I'll bring you more content from, honestly, how we maintain these pools, how we fix little seeps and stuff that will develop in a pool on stilts that moves around, that's made of concrete. This winter, when I get back down here with a little more time, I just came down for the weekend for a little R&R. But if you ever guys want to stay in these houses or look into Dolphin Island, it's a pretty gorgeous setting. You can go to boardwalk-realty.com. Our houses are called Bama Breeze and Island Fever. This is Bama Breeze, and this is Island Fever. And they're available. They have a ton of other properties available and all kinds of different availabilities and price ranges. But yeah, guys, it's turned out really, really nice.